research, and I was able to study and get a good foundation on molecular biology, stuff dealing with like genetics and even synthetic biology, which is manufacturing essentially cells to do what you want them to do. So that's pretty cool. But all of that kind of led me into the direction of going to vet school, and I graduated from Cornell University, which was the #1 vet school in the world. Amen, amen. And from there, it was able to give me provide the platform for me to do a whole bunch of stuff, including give back to other people who are aspiring vets, pre-vets, and also pre-med, anything dealing with the medical field. While at Cornell, I was also selected to be a part of this show called Vet School that aired on Nat Geo Wild, which is the sister station to National Geographic Channel. So now, not only was I mentoring people from Prairie View, but all of a sudden I have people from Ethiopia and Black women in veterinary medicine. I didn't even know they existed. So it's been pretty cool to have people send me also pictures of their children saying that they always wanted to go to vet school and they love their show. They want to do that before they go to school and they're like 5. So my platform, my goal is to just make sure that people know that whatever you can do, whatever you want to do, you don't have to fit a certain mold in order to do it. I did not look like a lot of people in my class. I did not see a lot of people who looked like me teaching the classes. And I was still Panther strong and Panther proud, so you can do it as well. Another thing you can notice that I have this big hair. I'm also a naturalista going on almost 10 years now, and for the past 3 years I've been in the development of launching my own beauty care products essentially. So I'll be launching officially in January 2017. So
wow. Where can they find more information about that? And I'm asking you, where can they find more information about that? Like, how can they follow up?
So I have a website, azizaglass.com, AZIZAGLASS. You can also follow me by the same tag name on Instagram, Snapchat, as well as Twitter. I made it very easy for y'all, branding, right? And I'll also be launching my website, Naturally Nyamka. Nyamka is my middle name and it means God's gift. So naturally, we're all God's gift, and I'll be providing stuff for you. That's
beautiful.
That's
That's awesome. Yes, so that would be vet / hair product. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I got me sitting next to you. What's up, PB?
What's up?
First of all, thank y'all for having me. Just so glad to be here. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Well, first of all, I spent a lot of time in home marketing. Finance minor, CIS major. I kind of went that route at the beginning. I worked for IBM for a few years, which at the time I worked for a company, for a division called Global Services, the highest paid African Americans there. Well, actually, not even African Americans, just college graduates at the time. But rewind, I always wanted to be in the film industry. My parents were not happy. They was like, all right, you gotta go to school, not going to any film school. They just had like a real traditional kind of mindset. So I ended up coming to PV. Best choice I ever made. Like, this is home, I love it. You guys here now, have fun. I'm telling you, like, when you get older, you graduate, you look back at these years and you will just enjoy them and laugh. The people that I went to school with, I'm a little bit older than y'all, but we still, like, we talk every day. Like, literally, I just made lifelong friends here in PV. Just a beautiful thing. But anyway, so now I am a filmmaker. I got out of corporate a few years after I graduated. And, it was like 2014, oh yeah, something like that. Anyway, so I'm a little bit older than everybody. But anyway, so I worked at IBM for a few years. I was really interested in the film industry. And so I stepped out on faith and I moved to Los Angeles. And honestly, things got real rough in LA. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what steps to take, who to meet, this, that, and the third. So I happened to just go to Atlanta one month. And I ended up meeting the guys from Rainforest Films, Rob Hardy, Will Back. They were graduates of PVAMU. At the time, they had done a movie called Chocolate City and Twan. You guys know them from Takers, Think Like a Man, Stomp the Yard, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up on this path, and I wanted to be a producer. So I sat behind Will, pretty extensively and kind of learned the business. And then that took me to basically start my own company called Tycorp. And since then, we've done several movies, music videos. I worked for everybody from Puff to Nelly on the music video side. And I just finished a movie with Daniel Radcliffe. People know him from Harry Potter. He and I did a movie together. And I've got 3 other movies coming out. One with Nicolas Cage, Idris Elba, Al Pacino, a few other. So, we're filming.
Wow. And how can people with you and your productions?
Yeah. So
visuals?
follow me on Instagram. I'm Ty Walker, TYWALKER online. Ty Walker online. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, website.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So let's give our panelists a round of applause. This is going to be a good conversation. Before we jump into it, how many of you actually know what Legends Do Live is? Like this symbol on my shirt. Who has seen it? Who knows it? 2 people? 3? 4. All right. I need some participation, y'all. Like, yes, no. Some people are like, down. Okay, so like 5 of y'all. All right. Well, Legends Do Live is founded by Mr. Jaron Small over here. Jaron. And Doug. Where's Doug? Hey, Doug. Doug's back there. Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about it. Legends Do Live is a networking organization dedicated to cultivating individuals' natural gifts and producing positive contributors to society. They are an extraordinary group with a variety of interests, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences. The vision is to establish and maintain a culture that promotes higher social, economic, and intellectual status while strengthening the community for young professionals. And so, naturally, since they're Panthers and they're the founders, they want to be here, they want to be active, and these are alumni, so as you grow through your PV experience and you're creating organizations or movements, you could do this too. This is your platform. This is your community who should stand by you and be willing to take different steps with you and experiment with you. So it's awesome that they were able to get this implemented this year. I'm honored to lead this discussion. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. And let's see. Sharon, send me these wonderful questions. So I want to first, ignite the conversation with how did you end up at Prairie View? All of you can answer it if you want, and then we can just move on from that point. So just jump in. How did you get here? What brought you here?
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I didn't really know anything about an HBCU at all. It's real out there, y'all, really. But I was a ball player, I was a basketball player, so I came here in 2007. Coach Ram recruited me, and I wanted to play ball. I really wanted to go to U of H, to be honest with you. Couldn't get in. They didn't recruit me. So I came to Prairie View and just found this beautiful campus and kind of just fell in love with it. And things didn't work out on the basketball end, so I had to find different avenues to express my creativity. So that's how I got to the Hill, and then things just started to turn up from there.
Naturally.
Okay, so I didn't know anything about Prairie View either. And in the midst of being in high school, applying to colleges, a lot of people in my family went to Howard and Hampton. But I'm like, I don't want to go there. I need to go super far away from my family in Chicago and St. Louis. And I had never been to Texas, and literally until I moved in the freshman dorm. It was my first time in Texas. I'd never seen a place like Prairie View ever in my life. I'm pretty much a city girl. And I met this guy named Osa Dayby the summer before freshman year. And I got into Prairie View, and I was like, I'm gonna just go here. Like, it's in Texas. My mama can't pop up on me. Like, she gonna have to notify me. She on the way. And he was telling me about Prairie View, and another guy, Terry Barton. They were in Missouri working at Monsanto, interning at Monsanto, and that's where I lived. And they were telling me about the school, showing me all the homecoming videos on YouTube. I had never even seen anybody twerk in my life until then. And it was just really exciting and overwhelming at the same time. And I was like, I'm going to PV. And like my first party in the Newman Center, I was so overwhelmed. And yeah, from Dava and Terry Barton, they were interns at Monsanto the summer before I came here, and that's just kind of how I came to Prairie View.
So originally, when I graduated from high school, I had this dream of becoming a nurse, right? So I was going to go to college, become a nurse, and go to the Air Force and do emergency medicine, emergency nursing in the Air Force. Very specific. But one thing you'll learn is that your life will change and your passions and your journey will evolve as you evolve as a person. So I applied to all HBCUs except for one. My one school that wasn't an HBCU, I ended up going there for grad school. So that's how all these things come full circle. So I applied to Texas A&M and ended up going there for graduate school. But anyway, I got to Prairie View, wanted to be a nurse, got to my sophomore year, and I was like, you know, I'm good at this, but I don't really like it. It doesn't really set my soul on fire. And I'll never forget the day I changed my major, and I tell everybody, like, it was the best decision I could have ever made. My parents were like, don't do it. You need to be a nurse. It's secure money. What are you going to do with a political science degree? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. But I ended up changing my major to political science, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And coming to Prairie View truly changed the entire trajectory of my life. So it was a phenomenal choice to choose the Hill.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Doctor. Come through, Doc.
So I am the youngest of 4 to a couple of parents that happen to both be Prairie View alumni. I'm the only sibling to go to Prairie View, and my children don't have a choice. They have to decide amongst each other, but one of them is coming here and carry on the legacy. So I also was an active member of the golf team. And I knew when I was in high school that I was trying to look at both an athletic and academic scholarship package. So Prairie View was on that list, and I also appreciated how the coach took his time to come out, speak with my family, really make an effort in recruiting me. So I have PV parents, then I have this coach that's recruiting hard, and then that money was looking right. So I decided to come to PV, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I was really involved with the agriculture department. I was involved with the golf team all 4 years. And I was also involved with SGA, not nearly as much as Ms. Priscilla here, but I did play an active role in the Senate as well. And the rest is history.
For me, again, you know, when I wanted to go to film school, so I was looking at a film school in Los Angeles. Folks were like totally against that. They were like, no, you need to go to a university and get a business degree or engineering. And I was, you know, safe. And so I was like, all right, well, I really want to go to HBCU if I'm not going to go to film school. So I went to Howard, I checked out Hampton, Grambling, and FAMU. My dad had friends that would come to PV, but I was like, that's so close, you know, blah, blah, blah. I had never come to the campus though. Then I got a chance to go to those schools, and I was like, decent. And so the time that I came to PV was homecoming. So I was best thing ever. I was like, nope, I'm staying in Texas, going to PV. That's the decision I made.
Yo, so I'll share my piece too. I actually transferred here from Southeastern Louisiana University, and I had a friend who she up and decided she wanted to come. We were from the same area. I actually grew up down the street from Southern, and so I was like, I'm not going to Southern. No offense, but I'm not going to Southern. And she was like, yo, my dad is out there, and I was like, well, my parents live out there too now. And she was like, I think I want to go to Prairie View. I'm like, what is Prairie View? She's like, just come on a visit with me. And I came here and I went to the College of Business and I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what I, want to accomplish. And they're like, we can help you with that here. And I was like, okay, sign me up. And I just enrolled and the rest is history. So of course the next piece of that is like, what's your most memorable moment here? And for me, where that initial feeling of not knowing what PV was and why God brought me here, I was studying international business and I was getting close to graduation. And I said, I need to go somewhere international. Duh, like where am I gonna go? And the application deadline had just passed to go to South Korea. And I was talking to my professor, my most favorite professor here, Dr. McNeil. The realist. And he was like, well, you missed the deadline. I said, well, I'm applying anyway. So I applied and I hand delivered it to the International Business Department. And I said, I know I missed the deadline. You may have picked somebody already, but you should really consider me for this. And that following, later on that night, he sent me an email and said, we did have someone in mind, but we'd love to send you. So I was the first student to go to South Korea from Prairie View. And if I wouldn't have asked, I would have gotten it. If I didn't push it, I wouldn't have gotten it. So, and that was a complete life changer for me. So, what stories do you have memorable here at Prairie View?
Mine would have to be creating the Gold Members Club, fan club organization here on campus. GMC, what's up? For real, like that, it's amazing to me that organization is even still going on. Because I was a sports editor here for the newspaper for the Panther for about 3 years, and we created that organization in that room on that same whiteboard that's in there right now. And I just wanted to have something at Prairie View that was like Duke, Cameron Crazy, just an organization that we can just have fun, turn up, paint your bodies, you know what I'm saying? Just really have fun and show that PV pride. And I think it might have been 2010, first homecoming, that we weren't even established all the way yet. Paperwork wasn't through, but we gathered everybody up at the fountain, and just the walk from the fountain to the stadium and the chants and just the atmosphere that we created, I think that probably is my biggest moment. That's the proudest moment I have. And to see these guys still going in section 103, turning up for the hill, that's, for me, just on the fun end of everything, and knowing that you can do anything from Prairie, you can create anything and see that legacy continue, and you don't even have to be a part of it. You just kind of you just see it going, man. I see GMC on TV make me cry almost, you know what I mean? So like, it means a lot to me. So that'll be my proudest moment here on the hill. GMC.
Let's get two more of y'all so we can go to another question.
I think that my proudest moment was during the time, or one of the proudest moments was during the time that I was serving in the SGA Senate. I was recruited by the former president, Johnny L. Jones III. Okay. And he heard me complaining about all the different stuff that, I saw the different, SGA people doing. I felt like they just needed votes and they weren't doing stuff. And he said, well, you should just kind of be a part of it then. And the second year that I was a part of it, I ended up becoming the chairperson for the Finance and Appropriations Committee. So I played an integral role in facilitating which organizations were funded money in order to support for some of their different activities. And it was a really proud moment for me because I saw, to me, what was injustice. Like, I feel as though if you have a organization, it might be five members, but if they're going across the country and they're making PV proud and they're breaking records, they should have just as much support and enthusiasm that they know is waiting for them back on the hill as the marching band. And there wasn't that. There was a real big disparity. Since then, I was able to put a lot of those rules in place to hold people accountable, people who took SGA money for granted, and force them to be appreciative of the students' money that was being funded to them. And I think that there are people still in the SGA now that are doing a great job of continuing that tradition. So I'm really happy about that.
Awesome.
I would say my most fond memory was when I was student body president. I had the privilege of working with a phenomenal team of people to make Prairie View A&M University the official polling location for Precinct 3 of Waller County. I still get chills talking about it because what a lot of people don't know is college students having the right to vote started with Prairie View students in the 1970s. So it was a case that went all the way to the Supreme Court because students felt like, well, I'm here for 9 months out of the year. I should have an opportunity to have a say-so in what goes on in the environment I'm around. And whether you all know it or not, there's been a lot of discrepancies for decades between the state of Texas, Waller County, and Prairie View. And it's all centered around students having the right to vote. And working with members of SGA, working with alums from Prairie View that are in elected offices, and then working with the Secretary of State, then John Steen, to make that happen was truly something that I was just grateful to be a part of. And I'm grateful to say that I worked with a team of people to make that happen. And now students can come here to the MSC, students and community members can come here to the MSC and cast their ballot whenever there's an election.
And we thank you for that. That's awesome. Do we have any questions at this time from anyone in the audience? We do want to make this a dialogue, not a monologue. So if there's any questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand, get my attention, and I will, we'll recognize you and you can speak. So let's jump into a little bit about challenges that we faced. We talked about how we got here, some of our most memorable moments. But what about some challenges that you learned from? You want to start it off over there? Ty?
I was still on the most memorable moments.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all want to go back to that, we can. But I'm getting...
Yeah, I'll talk about a memorable moment. For
Okay.
me, I was thinking about that. There's a lot. Some we can't discuss. But no, there's just so many great things that happen to people. But one of the things that I really remember, coming out of high school, I did pretty good in school, but I still wouldn't say that school was a big focus for me, right? And so when I came to PV, I actually met these individuals that they were taking it real serious. And honestly, they were a huge inspiration to me. And then folks coming back that had graduated recently also were a big inspiration to me as well. Because I was looking, I was like, man, these black folks are like really taking education seriously. They're taking their careers seriously. And that really sparked something under me, probably my freshman year, because after my freshman year, I interned with different companies every year after that. And that really kind of propelled, I would say, my financial, or the financial decision that IBM made to give me the job was because of the interns and how serious I took them. So I would definitely say, for me, one of my most memorable moments was just seeing what, from my era, I wasn't used to seeing black people really take education that serious. And it was just a huge, huge inspiration to me being here and seeing, my peers really take their future.
For sure. Good.
I also want to share one of my most memorable moments. It is like a moment I'll always talk about whenever I talk about my radio history and experience. Being here on campus, I was able to be a part of an amazing team. Malone, Doug, Jaron, Julius, Gabe, and we got to start back the student station, breaking a couple rules, saying some things on here we probably wasn't supposed to be talking about, broadcasting live at homecoming, getting the students involved and excited to be here. And it was just amazing to just work closely with them, and we all just, have the same mindset and one focus. That's just, and oh my God, I never forget being in the station on air after class with Chose, and he's still playing twerk music my freshman year, and I'm still getting used to this stuff, and it's different for me to warm in and introduce something I never had really heard, and it was just an experience, and I just love every bit of being a part of that student station, to see how far it has come now. is so exciting. So yeah.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about, we can talk about challenges, whether it be what you went through here, what you're going through now, what's our political climate right now, what challenges have you come across, and what are you doing what did you do to work through it, what are you doing to work through it, how are you helping others work through it? I think there's so much that we can talk about here. Like, I think we can talk a bit about our Prairie View experience, but we can talk more about what that experience has made us, what it has charged us to do and be today, you know. And so I just want to open that up, and we can create some more fluid dialogue. So if anybody speaks on something and you want to comment on it or ask a question, feel free.
Yeah, I'll talk about a challenge. So I talk about IBM after Preview. But what I hadn't talked about is like the challenges that I faced becoming an entrepreneur. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Leaving a 9 to 5 where on Fridays or every other Friday somebody pays you is one thing, but actually having to figure out like what your next move is and creating a job is another. And so I would say after school my biggest challenge was building this film company, you know, from nothing. There were many of homecomings that I came to where really I was just like, why am I even here? Seems like everybody else is doing great, you know, this, that, and the third. So it was one of those things where I had to tighten my belt many years, just to be able to figure out like how am I going to make ends meet, how I'm going to figure out how to get this movie made. But what I will say is, what I was told and what I learned is like time and just really just pushing at that door. And if one door closes, I got to kick another one open. If that door closes, I got to kick another door open. That is the advice that I give everybody. Don't stop. Like, I don't know how many people in here are planning on having their own company and doing things the entrepreneurial route. But it will get rough.
How many aspiring entrepreneurs do we have in here? Okay.
It will get rough. There's gonna be some times where you want to quit, but if it's in your heart, things will open up.
I would say that my greatest challenge taught me the power of determination. So my senior year of college, I'm a senior, doing the things that seniors do, preparing to graduate, being student body president, membership chair for AKA, and we're bringing in a new line. And then my dad gets diagnosed with late stage Alzheimer's. And it like rocks my core because they say, okay, we're predicting he may have 6 months to live. So on top of managing being a student, managing being a student leader, being a leader in an organization, I have like the person that I rely on most have a major health issue come up. And then on top of that, I'm applying to grad school. And I'm going back and forth for interviews to different grad schools, filling out applications. But it taught me two very valuable lessons that I still hold very dear to my heart today in my professional life. And that's one, time management. Anybody that knows me well knows that my planner is never too far away. Like, I write in it every single day. I check everything off my list. And that was the only way at that time that I could manage my life. Like, it was waking up at 5 a.m. and maybe not coming back to my room till 2 a.m. But every single hour of that day was occupied with doing whatever I needed to do. And then two, it taught me that you cannot make excuses. And your circumstances are what they are, but you still have things that you have to get done. So now in my daily life, it's like, people tell me all the time, oh, I can't come to work because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, sounds like a personal problem. Because at the end of the day, we have to do whatever we have to do to make our goals and our dreams our reality. So sometimes, life is going to happen. Life happening, it's inevitable. But it's just important that you stay the course, work hard, be determined, and organized. So when life happens, you can still try to flow with it as much as possible.
Control the controllables.
Yes.
I would say that my most challenging moment came while I was in upstate New York, while I was at Cornell. I had to transition into two different mindsets or two different environments that were very me, it seems like extremes. I transferred from a southern environment to a northern environment. So you have the weather, one. You have a change in culture, two, a change in the makeup of the people around you. So I go from being one of many black faces, like being a part of the diaspora essentially, to being sometimes the only one, and all of a sudden everything that I do, every word that I say is supposed to be the sole representation of blackhood, all right? And I ended up having to come to terms with that, because for probably the first two and a half years that I was there, I allowed it to put extra pressure on myself that didn't need to be there. I already had the pressure of being in med school, essentially, which is already tough enough. I had already the pressure of working some jobs so that I could have cover my room and board and lower that loan amount as much as possible. So I didn't need all this other drama on my life, but I voluntarily put it on myself. And it was a transition, it was development, it was growth, it was maturity. But the good thing is that I came from Prairie View, so a lot of different things that I saw some of the undergrads at this PWI having to wrestle with, I realized that I didn't have to think about those types of problems when I was at Prairie View, because it just wasn't an issue. I didn't have to worry about what it meant to be a black woman on a college campus, because I was one of many black women on college campuses. I didn't have to worry about what it means to be a black student or an aspiring black professional, because at Prairie View I was surrounded by it. And knowing that I made it out, and knowing that from that foundation I got to Cornell, I knew that it was going to, I had the tools, and I had already decided the type of woman that I was going to be. It was just that in that environment in upstate New York, I was just fine-tuning who I was going to be. So it took a while, but I got there. And during that time, I also started wearing my hair natural even more. So that also put some more spice into the mix. Because not everybody understood, I mean, it wasn't nearly as popular back then for people to rock their natural hair as much as they do now. So, but I'm proud to sit here today in front of you and be unapologetic in my blackness. Be all full of black girl magic and all that jazz, and to tell you that you are well on your way.
Real quick, so everybody that's in the back, in the foyer, guys, the people that are talking in the very back, can you guys just tone it down just a tad bit, because these people up here are trying to listen to these great speakers. So let's keep it down to a minimum, and Jesus will. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. While y'all doing that, follow Legends Do Live and hashtag Legends Do Live. Right, Jared?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so Miss 4.0, you want to talk to us a little bit about? Yeah, you thought I forgot about you. I didn't.
What am I saying?
Let's hear a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are, because you're definitely a popular DJ out here, and you can tell us about one of your most memorable moments here, or a challenge, or whatever you'd like to share. I want them to hear a little bit from you.
Okay. Well, hey guys, I'm DJ 4.0. Hey, I like that. That was cool right there. My most memorable moment being at Prairie View is just being one of the first female DJs here. Superstar, she's a DJ as well. She's a female DJ, and she started DJing after she left PV. And I got to be the first official DJ that is a female here. So that's kind of really, really big to me. Something I would like to say, having a school that'll back you up. I got to be on 106 in Park, and PV just went freaking crazy because somebody's on TV. And when I could say I got so much support and love from that, I think that was like probably like my best moment ever in life. Just PV like set me up for everything. I don't think y'all know, like PV is lit. Like seriously, I went to DC and I stayed in DC for 6 months. And when I say I was like I missed Texas so much, I met like 30 people that was from PV, and they were like, oh, you from PV? I got you. You need to ride to the store. You need this, you need that. Like, they just loved, like, PV is just a family, and I just think like that's probably like the number one thing about Prairie View is like that we're a little family. Like, being out here in the country, this thing got you up. You good. You good, you know what I'm saying? We good. But that's my little snatch. Is that weird? Was that weird? Okay, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I'm done.
So it's all good.
I'm done.
Thank you. We appreciate you. So let's talk a little bit about adversity. You know, I feel like being a Black professional or a young professional or a student today has a lot of charging elements to it, and there's just a lot of things happening in our society, and I think overall it motivates and inspires us to keep going. But in the meantime, you still have to deal with things that are happening around us. So, any panelists have had any situations face to face with Black Lives Matter, with Sandra Bland? Let's just take a moment for her. A moment of silence for Sandra. That could have been any one of us. And I'm just kind of like tearing up a little bit just thinking about it. I used to ride up and down that street commuting every day, And so, because I play a big social business role, social awareness. I'm out in communities. Like I said, I worked with Baton Rouge here recently in Alton Sterling, and it is like, I don't know, like not shattering, but I mean it's rifting. It's being out in that energy and really experiencing it. And us having social media today, so we can see everything, even makes it even more intense. What roles are some of you playing, or maybe initiatives that you're involved in? What are you doing to help progress as a society right now, as a people?
So what you're asking is what we're doing for the Black Lives Matter?
That's right. What y'all doing?
So I'm in the media, right? So CW39, and what am I doing?
Yeah.
The biggest thing would be is perception. So if I see a soundbite from an educated Black man, I make sure that soundbite goes into the telecast, right?
Love it.
If I see an ignorant pimp, which I do see from time to time, or somebody just acting out of control, I make sure that does not go in the broadcast, right? So that's a small thing. You have to be in the room.
Yeah.
If you're not in the room, you can't complain about what the media says. If you didn't take this seriously, and you didn't go to class, and then you didn't take initiative, you didn't even get an internship while you were in school, and you're mad about what they're saying, that's on you. You have to be in the room. You have to battle it out with the Jewish guy who's the boss, and you have to say, no, this is correct. You have to be in the building. You have to know how to be a storyteller, a filmmaker, to tell your stories, or the white man is going to tell it for you. And trust me, he's going to tell it the way he wants to tell it, and the way he makes himself look better. So that's the biggest thing I can do right now. I'm not a lawmaker.
No, that is awesome.
So that's what I say. Does anybody know about Alva Brazil? Did anybody in this building know about Alva Brazil? Look him up. It's a Black man who got killed off of Cullen, close to Pearland.
Oh, yeah.
And the city of Houston basically covered it up. Every time you hear a Black man get killed in the middle of the street, they say he had a gun. It's your constitutional right to bear arms. Is that correct?
Yep.
So why does every time the media says, oh, he had a gun, that is not illegal? Before you shot him, you didn't know if he had his license or not. You didn't ask him that. You didn't check his record. So why is that the rhetoric every time you kill a black man in the middle of the street? These are the questions that we have to ask. We have to hold certain people accountable on when they say that. So when I'm writing the headline, I make sure they don't say that. But I'm one of a few, right? So we have to be in the building to create change, to create the perception. They're scared of us. I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. They're scared of me. So I'll make sure I go to work in a suit every day so I don't get shot on my way to work at 1 a.m. in the morning. That's why I wear a suit. We have to make change, but it starts right here. It starts with the history. You better know your history. You better know where you are so it won't repeat itself. I'm gonna stop talking, let them do their thing.
Thank you, that was good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna piggyback on being in the room, right? So that has become a tag that a lot of people are saying is you have to be in the room. In order to be in the room, you gotta be educated. Because the people that speak for us right now don't look like us. So they tell their story. Even if they figure like, oh, I'm trying to support the black movement and I love black people, they're telling a certain story, and most of the time it's not 100% factual. Right? They leave out some things. They don't really have the passion, this, that, and the third. So me personally, what I do, I spend most of my time in Atlanta and LA. And in both of those cities, I mentor kids. And my biggest goal in mentoring those kids is education. I need them to know that in order to get in the room, you have to hold a position of power, right? So in order to change laws, we need a whole lot of us or become a judge or do something of where you have power. And so that's my biggest thing right now is just getting the youth to understand like it's not good enough to just be par. You can't be subpar for sure, but you can't just be par either. You gotta go like the extra mile and you have to get in that room. In order to get in that room, you gotta be educated. And then the other, education, and power brings along money. One thing Bill Gates one time said, he says like, you can't really help people if you don't have money. Not necessarily true, but he's right. Like, it takes money to sometimes get the attention of certain people. And if you take money away from certain groups, then you get their attention as well, right? So it's just, again, just piggybacking on what you're saying, like being in the room, most important thing you can do. If you're not in the room, other people are gonna talk for us.
That's right. Before I make my comment, I have to give this disclaimer. My comments are not a reflection of my employer because I am employed by the United States government, so I have to be very careful about what I talk about. But I will say this. J.O. and Ty made a very great point. You have to be in the room, but once you're allowed in that room, you have to be equipped with the knowledge to contribute to the conversation. So I was very strategic when choosing the member of Congress that I wanted to work for. And I chose Cedric Richmond not because he has an amazing energy portfolio and I work on energy policy, but I chose him because he's very conscious and very aware of the plight of African Americans in this country and around the world. And he has a very unique place in politics because he is an up-and-coming African-American man, the only African-American in the Louisiana delegation in Congress, the only Democrat in the Louisiana delegation, and he represents New Orleans and pieces of Baton Rouge. So this is a guy who people always go to when they have these types of questions. And you wonder, like, where does he get his answers from? It's from his staffers. So he makes sure that his staffers are equipped and that we're knowledgeable about what's going on. So that's how I feel like I contribute to this movement, is making sure that my member has everything that he needs so he can contribute to this movement. He's in a very unique place. He has a place of power, and people rely on him for his insight, and he relies on me and the other people in our team for our insight. But I will say this, and Ty alluded to this previously, but we think government starts at the top, and all these things that are happening starts at the top, and we can start legislating from the top, and that's not the case at all. Everything that's happening and spurring this Black Lives Matter movement is at the local level. Police are hired by police chief. A police chief is hired by the city manager. The city manager is selected by your mayor. So whoever you pick as your mayor, they will pick all of the subsequent offices. So it's important that we understand the political dynamics that are going on here. And Ty said, you know, there's nobody there at the table representing us because we're not electing them.
Right.
So we have to start training people and grooming people at this level to start going into city and county government. That's why my passion is state and local, y'all. I'm telling you. We have to start training people to go into state and local government, training people to start working for these agencies, training people to infiltrate the system. The only way we can change it is if we become a part of it and infiltrate it from the inside out. So my best advice is to make sure you're aware of what's going on here on campus, the surrounding community, and make sure you have something to bring to the table when the conversation is happening.
Awesome.
There's actually a couple of things. So if you look around outside and you see all these beautiful fountains, you see all these new buildings, you see that you have paved roads, until a group of PV alum entered the local legislature and started to demand that we receive the money that we should have been receiving since our founding, because we're part of the institutions of higher learning that's mentioned in the Texas Permanent University. The Texas Permanent University Fund. Thank you, Ms. Priscilla. When my parents were here, we didn't have all of this, but because people, dedicated alumni, saw what was happening and said, we're going to stop talking about it and be a part of the solution, this whole thing is a part of the result, okay? So that is a good testament, a good exhibit of what Priscilla and Ty and JL are talking about. Now, when it comes, go ahead.
So how do you guys feel about that as alums? When you hear someone say, oh, look at Prairie View, they're becoming, you know, more like the Texas A&M and Prairie View.
They should be. But you want to know why? Because if we're a part of that document, then that means, at least on paper, that we should have the same resources. We should look alike. There shouldn't be a big disparity of the type of catalogs that we have for journals for people who are in biology to even have access to in order to reference when they're writing a research or a term paper. Okay, it shouldn't have taken so long in order to get a athletic facility or a stadium and all that. So if people are talking about, well, y'all are trying to be like it, we ain't trying to be. We're supposed to be like it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta ignore the negativity.
Definitely.
And a lot of times, older folks, they'll look back at PV and they're like, oh, we didn't have apartments, we had dorms and blah, blah. And even though they love those things, they complained about it when they had it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think for a lot of older individuals, the millennials, you guys are great because you just take everything, like any new thing, you're like, okay, we can make that better. You know, and you guys welcome change. Whereas people in my generation and behind, change was scary, right? This is what it was. This is what we know, and this is what we stick to because this is how it's been working, right? So you gotta ignore that, but this is beautiful. I love the campus.
Absolutely, and we'll never be Texas A&M at Prairie View.
Correct.
We are guaranteed. We have guaranteed protection through the state of Texas Constitution. We will never be Texas A&M at Prairie View. But I will say this: it's important to know your history. It's important to know the value that this school brings to the state of Texas and why we have such a secure position. As Aziza mentioned, we're part of the Permanent University Fund. There's only 3 schools that receive the significant chunk from that fund, and that's Texas A&M, Prairie View A&M, and the University of Texas. And for a very long time, the University of Texas and Texas A&M, they took the entire thing, and they did not share with us. So till this day, they are paying us reparations. But these are things that most students and people aren't aware of.
I need some reparations too.
But we have to make sure that our students understand the value that they bring not only to this institution, but to the Texas A&M system, which we are a part of, and to the state of Texas. We produce the top Black architects, top Black nurses, top Black engineers. We have to understand that that's our role and that people outside of this state, they know it too. So when you say Prairie View A&M University, they say, oh, I know about Prairie View. Y'all have a great engineering program. And you say, yes, we do. Thank you. And go ahead. I'm done because I can go on all day about this.
And I'm piggybacking off of what you were talking about with the legacy of the type of productive people Prairie View produces. You mentioned the nurses, you mentioned the architects, a lot of top engineers in the state of Texas that are now around the world. A lot of educators. For the longest time, most of the black teachers in the state of Texas came through the Prairie View A&M program. There's also a lot of military. So a lot of people might ignore the ROTC programs that are here, but especially with the Naval ROTC program, it has produced some of the top-ranking black officials in the Navy. A lot of people don't know about that. And for the longest time, I think Prairie View was one of the only or one of the few HBCUs that even had a Naval ROTC program. So that's an accomplishment in itself. And I'm in veterinary medicine. So I didn't find out some of this stuff out until I got to Cornell, which I think is a shame. But the first week that I was at Cornell, the former dean of admissions, who was also the former dean of the college, actually interrupted, walked into my path and blocked me and said, "You're that PV student." And I said, "Yes, I'm a graduate from Prairie View A&M University." I say the whole thing. And he says, yes. So I think you're the only PV person here ever in the program. Okay, so I found out right then I was the only PV applicant and also graduate from their program. Then he proceeded to tell me, "Oh, well, don't you know someone, Dr. So-and-so and Dr. This and Dr. That?" And, "Oh, yes, I mean, it's so amazing. As soon as I saw your application, I saw Prairie View on it, and I just knew the type of people they produce. So I went ahead and put in the next file, the next stack." So just in talking to this person, who was not a black man, all right, for 10 minutes, I ended up getting a crash course on all of the prominent veterinarians, black veterinarians in the field that also stem from Prairie View A&M University.
Wow.
And it was something that it's a part of my mission to help people coming along after me, to let them know that you should be proud. Don't say, mumble Prairie View A&M under your breath when somebody asks you. Just because they didn't hear about it, you're gonna learn today.
Right. We have a question. Let's take this question right here. Great, that was great input, guys.
Okay, so my name is Joshua Muhammad, SGA this year as well too. And my question is this: we talk a lot about politics and how to infiltrate the systems, things like that. My other question is that economics backs politics. And when you come here to Prairie View, the idea is more so how can you get a good resume, have a fancy looking GPA, and then go find a job somewhere. As an engineer, that's pretty much the mindset that we're given. But however, the stronger your economics is, you have your business, things like that, the stronger your politics is. So now how do we change the mindset when we come to Prairie View, especially as black people? We know that jobs in America are low, that the people that's gonna get the jobs first are those who don't look like us, and then there's some left over, then we may get the job. But now we're establishing our own businesses. How can you change that mindset at our school to where we're establishing businesses, and now when it happens, our economics is stronger, and now then our politics is much more stronger.
I can agree a ton with that. Personally speaking, I started my entrepreneurship journey at 19 years old, whenever I was at my previous school, before I transferred here. And I just think that it was something that I was exposed to. So it's how do we change the exposure, right, at a really young age? And even prior to me going to college, I went to school in Baton Rouge. I got an okay education in Baton Rouge, but it was literally large groups of what you can study, right? It wasn't you can learn a bit about entrepreneurship and how to run your own business if you study business. If you want to be a doctor, you can go and study this and open up your own practice. It's not broken down that way. So I think that it's going to start with us, really. It's really going to start with everyone in this room, introducing to your children, your little cousins, your nieces, your nephews, let them know they can do whatever they want to do, showing them and taking them to another business or to a person who started their own business and saying, you could do this as well. But on a university level, again, personally speaking, I had a great experience at the College of Business. However, there were a lot of things I had to figure out and learn to apply on my own. I think that conversation needs to start from the first day you walk into the door. You take a professional development, great. Where in professional development are we truly highlighting entrepreneurship, where we're truly highlighting, hey, here are local Black businesses in the Prairie View area or in the Houston area that you can go to and you can support, and you can eat, and, all of these things. I know me and you have met before, through the nation and being involved in some of the panels that y'all have in Houston, which they have really, really great programs. And one thing I really appreciate about the Nation of Islam is that they're all about the economics. You want a list of Black businesses? Ask them. They even down in Baton Rouge. So there's organizations out there that are listing it out and whatnot, but we have to do a better job with instilling it, from the day that people walk through doors at colleges and even in our own families. Ultimately, it starts at home, and it's a mentality thing.
Yeah, and just I guess piggybacking, I think we as a people need to do better at business, period, right? Just putting it out there, we lack when it comes to owning our own businesses. A lot of times we take shortcuts, and that's not how you want to do it. You want to give your all, you want to give your best. But just in talking about what the young brother was saying, I think that we as alumni need to push for courses to be had here at PV that teach entrepreneurship, right? Because a lot of times, let's say I have these great fashion designs in my head, and I'm going to be a designer. I may know a whole lot about designing, and I say, okay, because I can design clothes, I'm going to start my own business. Still a piece you're missing. You may not know how to start your own business. You may not know how to run your own business. So I think it's important to take business courses, or at least to have some type of business knowledge before you actually go into business for yourself, because that's where a lot of people mess up. They have all this knowledge of what they're going to be selling or what they're going to be doing, but they don't know how to run their actual business.
I think another part of that is too, not inserting yourself in a situation where you can learn from other people who are doing well. Sometimes I come across people with great ideas, entrepreneurs. They're not willing to learn from anybody. They're not willing to be a mentee. They're not willing to volunteer. They're not willing to intern. Shout out to my favorite intern, Mofe. Whenever I was here, she worked with me. But Mofe was like, tell me what to do. Where are we going? What are we doing? Just eager and hungry, and we have to humble ourselves sometimes. I had to do it. We humble ourselves and find somebody who you believe in, who has great work ethic. They have proven success, and just jump in there, So
becoming a mentee to somebody is great. And when I say, most people say, oh yeah, I have a mentor. I have 23 of them today. And I've had a bit of success in my career. I still have mentors. I wrote to the CEO of American Express, and I was like, this is who I am, and I would love for you to mentor me. I don't want to work for American Express.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with my field.
Right.
But I learned about who this person was and what they did, and I figured this person would be good for me to know. And at the end of the day, you gain knowledge from, a lot of them are really busy, but you gain knowledge from here and there. And then you also get things. Because they're like, oh yeah, that's Ty from, such and such. He's a good dude, blah, blah, blah. We all need things occasionally, and your mentors, if they're powerful enough, they can help you kind of get in doors that you may not could have gotten into in your own, it's networking.
Right.
It's networking. So don't look at it just like I have to get a mentor. Get 50 of them and stay in contact with them.
I wanted to stress the part about getting a mentor, but also interning. Interning in your field, whether it's free. I hear so many people when I was a student here complain about not having internship experiences until their senior year. And I feel like that's very late in the game to just now be, getting an internship. Intern now, email people. You follow people that are in your field and successful. DM them. tweak them until they hit you back. It may seem like, you know, you're doing too much. I literally was in your shoes. I would intern every year here at Prairie View. I missed out on everything. Driving back and forth, down 290, 45 minutes to Houston, working in the outlet. Be involved. It's not excuses. Sometimes you gotta work for free. You're gonna have to work for free a lot before you get to where you wanna be. And it sucks on the way up, but having those amazing mentors that respect you and wanna keep in touch with you, they're there at your weakest points during your career. I've had amazing mentors. Debbie Dale, she's a radio personality in Houston. She's so close to me. I'm so close to her, and she's almost like my mom. And then when you have a mentor, such an amazing mentor, it gets more personal than just professional. And sometimes you need that person that's not your parents to hear the same thing that they're telling you from someone else. So interning, getting a mentor is very, very important, and don't wait till the last minute. And also with applying for jobs. Don't wait till your senior year to apply and try to have something set up by spring break or by applying starts now. Like applying starts right now.
In short, invest in yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll just add one quick thing. So one of the number one things that people ask me is, well, how did you get your experience, your like animal experience before you applied to vet school? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I told them I asked.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, well, I did that, and then I did this. You're not asking enough, because I'm still hearing a no from you instead of a yes. And every time I suggest something, you're automatically shutting it down. So to me, that means that you're not serious about your life.
Excuses are tools.
Yes.
Anybody know what the definition of excuses?
They're the monuments. They build the monuments of nothingness.
That's right. Build monuments of nothingness. Those who specialize in them seldomly achieve anything greater.
So one of the things that I did, when I was looking for a place to intern at a vet clinic, I was literally just driving down some streets. Every place that I saw, I stopped, I got out, and I asked the person, can I work for free, whatever hours you say that I can work, I'll do it. I want to go to vet school, this and that. And then they'll say, well, when can you start? I said, I can start yesterday. I mean, if you need me here at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm leaving at 9 o'clock at night, fine. Now, sometimes the way your life is set up, maybe you have a child, maybe you're already working some jobs and you don't have that type of freedom in your schedule, but you have to have that type of determination. You cannot be afraid to hear the word no, because guess what? The worst they can say is no. And the sun is still gonna rise the next day, and you're still gonna be okay, and you're still gonna be alive. So just get out there, be a hustler, and go get it.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am. And we're gonna do just one more question before we wrap up.
I'm gonna be quick. Sometimes, like, I was the person that always applied for things and I never got them. So I would do like different like creative things. You can get creative when you're looking for mentors and internships. And me and Harper can definitely say that we did some crazy things to get our internships. Like we were freshmen and she was at 97.9 Houston and I was at 97.9 Dallas. Like I was driving back and forth from PV every weekend to get to Dallas just to intern. So it's like I even for free, like they weren't throwing no cash, no money, no nothing. And I actually, like me and my best friend, I just sent off, I did some creative things. I got a box. I went to Home Depot, got me a box. I put a sticky note in there with the MP3 drive and I said, hey, play me. That's all it says, hey, play me. Sent it up to SiriusXM DC where I did an internship at. Got an email 2 days later. Like I was just doing just different stuff, and the email was actually some great news. So I mean, just doing different things. Like I even popped up on somebody. It was weird. Don't do it. You know, if you're a little scared. But if you good, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and do it. I popped up on my OGM one day. I'm like, what's up? What you doing? I'm here. I need your mentorship. She was like, girl, you okay? I'm like, I'm good. I want this. Like I want this. This is what I do. I want it. And she put me in the right hands just to get the internships and the mentors that I got. So you just can be creative and do some different things if stuff like that is not working, then just applying. So that's another thing too.
So rule number 1, invest in yourself. Rule number 2, create your own opportunities.
Amen. And after you become successful, don't forget the person that was in your communication class. That was in, it just feels so much more amazing when you worked hard and are accomplished or at a steady point where you can help someone else. And then God continues to bless you.